Thank you. It's a pleasure to co-chair this meeting with you. I want to welcome our witnesses and thank them for coming. It is not an exaggeration to say that your companies have fundamentally and permanently transformed our very culture and our understanding of the world. Much of this is for good, but it is also true that our country, our democracy, even our understanding of what is truth has been harmed by the proliferation and dissemination of misinformation and extremism, all of which has deeply divided us. What our witnesses today need to take away from this hearing is that self-regulation has come to the end of its road, and that this democracy, this democratic, the people that you see before you, elected by the people, is preparing to move forth with legislation and regulation. The regulation that we seek should not attempt to limit constitutionally protected freedom of speech, but it must hold platforms accountable when they are used to incite violence and hatred, or, as in the case of the COVID pandemic, spread misinformation that costs thousands of lives. All three of the companies that are here today run platforms that are hotbeds of misinformation and disinformation. And despite all the promises and new policies to match, disinformation was rampant in the 2020 election, especially targeting vulnerable communities. For example, Spanish language ads run by the Trump campaign falsely accused President Biden of being endorsed by Venezuelan President Maduro. The spread of disinformation fed upon itself until it arrived at the Capitol of the United States on January 6th, which cost 5 lives. The lives lost in the insurgency were not the first cases of these platforms' failure, nor even the worst. In 2018, Facebook admitted a genocide of the Rohingya people in Myanmar was planned and executed on Facebook. 2020 saw the rise of coronavirus disinformation on Facebook platforms, including the playing of the, they called it the Plandemic. This film got 1.8 million views and 150,000 shares before it was removed. Disinformation like Plandemic made people skeptical of the need for vaccines, and almost certainly contributed to the horrible loss of life during the pandemic. Disinformation and also hops platforms to spread viruses. Disinformation also hops from platform to platform. Plandemic actually was first on YouTube before it was on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Misinformation regarding the election dropped 73% across social media platforms after Twitter permanently suspended Trump, as well as and also the Capitol insurgency and QAnon. But the question really is, what took so long? The witnesses here today have demonstrated time and time again that self-regulation has not worked. They must be held accountable for allowing disinformation and misinformation to spread. And that is why I'll be introducing the Online Consumer Protection Act, which I hope will earn bipartisan support. And thank you. I yield back.